Hi, and welcome to Camille's Country Corner. I'm Camille, and on today's episode we will be making some meatball sliders on some homemade pretzel bread. Let me show you what you will need for the pretzel bread. We're going to get started with that first. I'm glad you stopped by here today. We're going to have fun. All right, for the pretzel buns, we are going to need some all-purpose flour, some yeast, brown sugar. We need some warm water, and I have some butter and some milk already melted in a pan, and a little bit of salt. Let's get started. All right, to my bowl, I want to add 3 cups of flour. I'm going to add 2 cups of this brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of this brown sugar. I have already added a tablespoon when I did my yeast, so I went ahead and bloomed my yeast already. That just means you're going to put it in a warm cup of water. We need 1 cup of water, and to that I put 1 package of yeast, and then my water seemed to not be warm enough, so I went ahead and I added my 4 tablespoons of melted butter and my 2 tablespoons of milk. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. So that was 3 tablespoons total of the brown sugar. Now we're going to go ahead and mix this until it's combined. I'm going ahead and letting the machine do all of the mixing for me. That way I don't have to knead the dough at all. Okay. All right. This dough is supposed to be a little bit sticky, but not real sticky. Let's see, we've got a piece of brown sugar in here that did not incorporate, so let's pull that out. I'm going to go ahead and flour up my hands a little bit just to pull this out. Okay. Now I'm just shaping it into a ball. And all I'm doing is pulling the dough underneath. All right, let me set this one aside. I went ahead and grabbed another glass container. It doesn't have to be glass, that's just what I had. And I put some olive oil in there. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. I'm going to cover this with a damp towel, and I'm going to leave it on the counter for 1 hour or until it doubles in size, and I will bring you back for the next step. All right, we're going to get started on the meatballs while we're waiting for the dough to rise. I have about 1 pound of ground beef. I think mine is just an 80-20. I have some garlic, Parmesan, some breadcrumbs, 1 egg. I've got some Italian seasoning, and I might not use that whole half an onion I have sitting there, and some salt and pepper. Let me show you how I put that together. All right, to my mixing bowl, I am going to add my little over 1 pound of ground beef. I'm going to add 1 egg. Sorry guys, reaching over top of you to get a paper towel. I hate when stuff gets on my fingers. All right, I'm going to use probably about a teaspoon of the Italian seasonings. I'm probably going to add about 1/4 cup of the grated Parmesan. I'm gonna do probably about a half a cup of our breadcrumbs. I'm just using the Italian style, nothing special here. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. You don't want to add too much salt here because you added your Parmesan and it has salt in it. And I'm adding a couple of cloves of garlic. And because my family does not like to see all of the big chunks of onion, I'm going to grate the onion right in here. All right, I used about a quarter of that onion. Let me just go ahead and set that here. All right, that was a mighty strong onion. My eyes are watering. All right, this is just the messy part. You're just gonna combine it. You don't wanna overwork it because then your meatballs will be tough. Just want it enough to be combined. All right, let's move all my stuff aside. And all you want is I have a sheet pan here. Just a regular old cookie sheet. I put a little bit of aluminum foil on here just because I'm lazy and I don't like to scrub pans. So we are going to bake these in the oven. I already have my oven preheating at 350. I am making about little more than a golf ball size meatball, only because these are sliders and you're getting one per bun. So I want it to be a pretty substantial size because they do shrink a little bit. All right. I've got these all rolled up. I got 12 out of here. That was a little over a pound. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. I'll see you back when it's ready. Okay, now that our dough has doubled in size, I'm going to show you what to do next. Now we want to roll our dough into balls. So literally I am just taking a knob of the dough and you want to pinch it underneath. That's it. That's all that's to these. And right now I'm just placing it on some parchment because we have one more step to do for these balls, for these buns. We are not going to let this rise a second time. That is the trick to making these pretzel buns. So let me get these all rolled out. Again, I will show you. You're just going to pinch that bottom. Get these all rolled out, and I will show you the next step. I just like to get them all rolled out and ready because if you were to drop these in the water as you are rolling them up, you might get them too wet and then you'll ruin your whole batch. All right, we have them all rolled up. Let's take them over to the stove and I'll show you the next step. Okay, friends, for this next step, you need 4 quarts of water. My water is up to a boiling, so I am going to be adding a half a cup of baking soda. Now for this, you want to add this slowly because you'll see why in a second. Because it just bubbles up like crazy. And if you were to add the whole thing in, it would just bubble over. Okay, it's all in. Everything's up to a bubbling. And what I'm going to do is I am going to drop my buns in, about 3 at a time. And you want to, I lied, I'm gonna do 4. You want to put these in here for about 30 seconds on each side. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and flip them. I do apologize for the light in my kitchen. My window is right next to my stove, so I have not figured out how to block all of that light from coming through. But I will figure it out. I'll get there. Probably just need more curtains on my windows. Anything white on white, like the buns in here, are white, so it's reflecting off of anything that's white or anything that's light in my kitchen. All right, it's been about 30 seconds on each side. I've just got one of these spider spoons, and I'm going to go ahead and take my bun out. Okay, you want to make sure that it's pretty side up. And I'm just placing this back on my parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, just put it on an oiled cookie sheet. I'm going to continue on with my rolls. Stove. Pull the last biscuits out. Biscuits, rolls, I keep calling them different things. You all know what I'm talking about. At this point, you should have already had your oven preheating at 400 if I haven't told you that already. And now, for the rolls, let me see. I'm trying to block all that light. Let me try something. Okay, at this point, what you want to do is you want to put an X on top. This just makes it easier, so when your rolls expand, they don't explode out of a weird spot. Because your dough has to have somewhere to go when it's baking. I'm sure you've seen all those pretty patterns on like sourdoughs and the artisan breads. That's why. And all we're doing is putting an X on here. And then I have some kosher salt. I'm just gonna sprinkle my tops. That's where the whole pretzel part comes in. These smell so good. I wish you could smell it. All right, we are going to put this in our 400-degree oven for 15 to 18 minutes. And I'll show you what that looks like when it comes out. All right, now that our pretzel buns are out of the oven, I have 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm just gonna brush the tops. They were in the oven for 16 minutes. I turned them about halfway through the cooking process. All right, let's let these cool down and I will show you how to assemble our sliders. All right, friends, this is what the pretzel rolls look like when they are finished. And our meatballs. And I went ahead and made some sauce to go ahead and top these with. All right, guys, everything's been made. We have our meatball sliders all ready to go. I went ahead and made one for you. Towards the end of the week, we like to do easy sandwiches, or we make pizzas, whatever it is towards the end of the week that makes your life easier. That's definitely what we do. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try. I absolutely love the pretzel bread. It is so good. You can eat it on its own. And the deliciously garlicky meatballs, it's fantastic. Hey guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and do that now. Hit the like button. Let me know down in the comments if you've made these or if you have a similar recipe to this. I would sure like to hear your ideas and suggestions, but I hope you make this. And thank you for stopping by today. We'll catch you on the next one. Happy baking.